head to our second location for our next activity, which will be at 2 o'clock. And it's about a 30-minute
there's a second one.
Train ride to get to where we're going for that one. I am the designated travel planner. My friends don't really know where they're going.
This is the winter palace. The summer palace is Schönbrunn. It's a much bigger palace, much bigger ground.
Bigger? On our left is Vienna Christmas Market, the largest Christmas market in Vienna. And a little further down our route, we came across Alt Wiener Christmas Market. I couldn't help but mark where Christmas markets were that I hoped to return to later on. So we headed to Plachuta for our first taste of Viennese cuisine. So last night in Vienna, we had dinner at Plachuta, which I think might have originally been on my food list, but then I kind of chopped it. It was a little bit fancier, maybe a little bit more expensive than I wanted to keep on the list. So I was trying to balance aesthetically pretty cafes and such, good food with a budget. And in Vienna, especially, like some of the places where you eat can get a little bit more expensive. I'm really glad we ended up eating at Plachuta. I got the veal goulash and it was so good. Randy also got it. Marcia and Beth got the Wiener Schnitzel. They were the first ones to try the Wiener Schnitzel in Vienna. That's the dish it's pretty famous for. Marcia was nice enough to pass me a slice of her Wiener Schnitzel. I already knew I was gonna like it, but I hadn't ordered it at Plachuta because I knew that the next day we were gonna go to a cafe, or at least I hoped we were gonna go to a cafe. And hopefully I'm saying this correctly. Figelmüller? Don't hold me to that. It's pretty famous for its Wiener Schnitzel. And so I thought, oh, I'm gonna save my Wiener Schnitzel order for that. And I tried the veal goulash the night before. I don't know that you could top the veal goulash, but we did end up going to Figelmüller. Again, hopefully I'm saying that right. I got the Wiener Schnitzel. Oh, so good. Just really, really good. I feel like this is terrible. Don't judge me. But back home, I'm a really big fan of chicken fried steak. And I figured that Wiener Schnitzel, completely different dish, but felt like it kind of had the same vibe to me. So I was like, I'm gonna like that. I do like it. It's very good. Wiener Schnitzel comes in a couple of different stylings. Traditionally, I think it's veal, but you can also get it in pork, which is what Figelmüller served. I think they served it as veal at Plachuta, but I think maybe it comes in chicken and stuff too. But anyway, traditional dish, highly recommend. I'm probably gonna go home and try to figure out how to make it myself. At a local bookstore, Randy was tempted, but didn't quite walk away with the first book of the trip. So at the end of our hot rod tour, our guide was kind of asking us oh, what do you have planned for while you're in Vienna? How many days are you going to be here? This and that. And the group's just deer in the headlights. Well, they don't know anything. That's the beauty of a mystery trip. But also maybe that's a downside of a mystery trip is they literally don't know anything. And so they're Nicole's the trip planner. They kind of explained how the mystery trip works in a little more detail. He actually pulled me outside to kind of go over our schedule. He said, well, how many days are you going to be? I'm like, we're going to be 5 days. I said, we're going to do this, 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 this. And he goes, oh, not bad. Yeah, you're doing a pretty good job. You're covering a lot of things. But he did give me one piece of advice, and he said, when you go to your next location, you need to go up to the hill. There's this place called the Gloriette, and there's a cafe there. He said, go up there, enjoy the views, get yourself a drink, and just kind of enjoy the vibe. And so I kind of filed that away. We went back in, and I think he was pretty excited. He told the group, he said, I'm going to give you your clue for the next destination. I didn't tell him to do that, so that was really cool, where he was like, my hint for you for your next location is that I mentioned it during the tour. So there we go. He gave the cast a clue that we're going to go somewhere that he mentioned during our tour, and now their wheels are churning. Although they didn't churn for very long. I think they thought about it, and then they just went, we're going along for the ride. So there we go. Headed to our next location, something that was mentioned in our hot rod tour, and I've added head up the hill to the Gloriette for drinks and a view to boost that activity. So you guys still don't know where you're going?
Not a clue.
No.
No?
Because you cheated.
Coming into the parade court, we got our first glimpse at the Schönbrunn Christmas Market in front of the palace, but more on that later. The property that Schönbrunn Palace sits on came into possession of the Habsburg family through Maximilian II in 1569. He set about expanding the game park where native and exotic game and fowl were bred. Emperor Matthias also used the estate for a hunting retreat. According to legend, while out hunting, the emperor came across the Schöne or Fair Spring, in 1612. While the story may have become legend, it became the inspiration for the change in name to Schönbrunn in 1642. In 1686, Emperor Leopold I sought to have a brand new residence and grand hunting lodge built for his son and heir, Joseph. He solicited Johann Bernhard Fischer von Erlach. Keeping with the popular Baroque architectural designs of the time, the entire complex catered to the circular theme of the Baroque style and is built about a center axis. 2 generations later, the property was gifted to Maria Theresa, who is credited with the revival and rejuvenation of Schönbrunn. Under her direction, it became the epoch of court and political life as she transformed the hunting lodge from a grand hunting lodge to a sprawling palatial summer residence. In addition to creating more rooms, there was also a focus on the decoration of the rooms. Many of the palace's gardenside rooms were made over with the typical Rococo style, including the Great Gallery, which is known as one of the most important Rococo interiors ever created. Rococo art emerged as a clapback against the dominating Baroque art of Louis XIV's reign and the Palace of Versailles. Instead of the Baroque design's ovular shapes, Rococo focuses on C and S shapes, which are considered more natural shapes, with an emphasis on asymmetrical design. In addition to using light colors like ivory, white, and gold, Rococo design often used mirrors to help enhance the sense of open space in rooms. Maria Theresa's love of East Asian art was apparent in the refurbishing of the porcelain room, but was notably prevalent when she made up her late husband's East Wing study into a memorial room, decorating it with coveted Chinese lacquer panels and expensive wood paneling with inset paintings by renowned artists. Having passed away suddenly, and being a huge blow to the widowed empress, her husband's memorial room remains intact to this day. After Maria Theresa, Schönbrunn Palace experienced another revival when Emperor Franz Joseph ordered a full restoration of the palace to bring life into it once more as his chosen primary residence and in preparation for his marriage to Elizabeth, Duchess of Bavaria, also known as Sisi. Franz Joseph also oversaw a full restoration effort on the 18th century Rococo interiors in preparation for Vienna hosting the World's Fair in 1873. These restoration efforts morphed the palace into the one we see today. Nowadays, Schönbrunn Palace boasts being the #1 site to see in Vienna and has been a major tourist attraction since the 1960s. Millions of visitors each year come to catch a glimpse of a location appointed to the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage Site list in 1996. The grounds of Schönbrunn also include the Imperial Carriage Museum with some 600 horse-drawn vehicles, as well as the world's oldest and most beautiful zoo with over 700 animal species. We didn't get the opportunity to check either of these out, but we did make it to the Gloriette on the top of the hill, just like our tour guide recommended. Morning, Clayton. How was the first day?
It was good. I saw it, went to go hot rod. I think wandered through a castle. Pretty much a win.
I second that motion. But so far are the highlights. Very fun, very fast. And the palace was beautiful, and you know, more history about a historical figure I already think is pretty cool. Empress Sisi. I can relate to tomboys that like to ride horses.
Born in 1837, Elizabeth became the Empress Consort of Austria in 1854. Widely regarded as the most beautiful princess in Europe, she is also remembered for her tragic life story. During the Middle Ages, in 1296, Albrecht I allowed citizens of Vienna the privilege of putting on a Krippenmarkt, a December market. This became the foundation of what would evolve into today's Viennese Christmas markets. Today, Vienna hosts some 20 official Christmas markets, selling trinkets, seasonal gifts, and delicious treats. At the Schönbrunn Palace Christmas Market, we found some 60 exhibitors selling handcrafted and original gifts, such as nativity sets and Christmas decorations. The air was filled with the smell of vanilla kipferl and hot punch. Randy and Beth even snagged the first of what I'm sure will be many collectible mugs from this market. At this market, they had an Empress Sisi mug, so Randy could not resist. And you can order your mulled wine or Glühwein and get to take the mug home with you as a souvenir. Most markets have their own unique mugs, so each market will have a different mug that you can enjoy your hot alcoholic beverage in. Personally, I was on the hunt for some raclette, something I'd seen on a reel on Instagram where melted cheese is scraped onto toast, and that sounded divine. However, I couldn't find any at this market, so I'll have to keep my eyes peeled at future ones for this dish.